going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and welcome back to the Draft League Viabilities. Now, this week, I'm going to be covering a couple mods that I'm really excited to be bringing you because there's two of my favorite mods in League format of all time. And one is low tier and one is high tier, and one's a mega. So you guys should be happy about that. Real quick, I kind of want to touch on as to why there wasn't uploads on Wednesday last week, as to why there wasn't two Draft League Viabilities. I started a new job, and I don't mean like a new career. I mean like I went to a different job site, and I get up at 2 in the morning, and I work 10 hours a day, and it's in DC, so it's like an hour and a half drive one way. So it's kind of a long day for me, and I didn't have the time on the weekend because I wanted to spend a little bit of time with my girlfriend. Her and I haven't spent like a just weekend with her and I together, so I do apologize for not getting that out. But this week, I promise you, there will be two on Monday and Wednesday, along with, of course, the PGL battles and team builders on Thursday and Friday. Make sure you guys go watch those. And I joined another league, and I think that the team builder or the draft analysis will be up this Saturday, so make sure you guys keep an eye out for all of that goodness. But now that all of that housekeeping stuff is out of the way, today I'm going to be talking about Mega Medicham. Now, Mega Medicham is one badass Mega, okay? A lot of people draft this thing and expect it to do a lot more than what it can because it is so badass. What I mean by that is they expect Mega Medicham to be a sweeper. They expect it to be, it can kill everything, which granted it can as long as it outspeeds them. The problem is a lot of teams prep for that and they build a Scarfer, or they build something with a berry to live a hit and then to paralyze it or something like that, and that's where Mega Medicham falls short. However, what you should be doing when you draft this thing is realize that nobody has a switch into it and use it as a wall breaker. The way that I found to use wall breakers like this the most effective is hyper offensive Volt Turn. You Volt Turn to get a wall in that you really like, and then you send in Mega Medicham, and then you high jump kick it and you kill it, or you Zen headbutt it and kill it, and that's the easiest way that I found to deal with it. And then whenever you're done with all the walls, Mega Medicham can be a little bit less useful depending on how fast the sweepers are, and then that opens up a massive hole for, say, your setup sweeper, your choice scarf user, or your bulky Calm Mind mon. So it can kind of open up walls for everything else on your team, but it will not be a sweeper that can just kill literally everything on the opposing team, just all of the walls. Mega Medicham matches up against some bulkier teams not so well in my opinion, because a lot of bulkier teams, when you draft, say, like a stall team or something like that, a lot of them have a bulky psychic type and a ghost type. And that's where Mega Medicham is really hurt, as to where Mega Lopunny is scrappy, it can hit them. Mega Medicham can't hit them with either one of its stabs very hard, especially if it's like a Dark and Ghost type like Sableye or Spiritomb. So I think we need to write to Game Freak and petition that Mega Medicham get play rough. No? Makes them unbroken? Yeah, that kind of would make it broken, because dark types are no longer, ghost dark types are no longer a good switch into it, like Sableye and Spiritomb. But I think the good thing about Mega Medicham is that your opponent has to play around it a certain way, and it's very easy to predict. So what you can do is, if you know that your opponent has a Spiritomb, a Sableye, a Mega Sableye, something like that, if you have Mega Medicham in, they have one switch in. One. You can predict it, you can go into your fairy type, you can go into your setup sweeper, you can go into anything to take advantage of those walls. So as long as you are smart and are okay with making the prediction of knowing when they're going to switch in, this Mega is probably one of the most potent in the format. Now, whenever you're considering a Mega that you really want to get, I fully am a believer that you get a Mega that you've used before and you are very comfortable with it. If you are not comfortable with spamming high jump kick or low accuracy moves, do not get this thing, because high jump kick, it has the strongest high jump kick in the game. You have to go for high jump kick to get the kills that you need. If you're not comfortable with going for Zen headbutt and you're afraid of missing it, this might not be the Mega for you. However, if you do train in the mountains and you are very comfortable with hitting high jump kicks and spamming Zen headbutt, along with fake out for a guaranteed Mega, along with priority and bullet punch to hit the fairies, and then on top of all of it, having coverage moves in Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, and Fire Punch for bulky waters, Pharaoh Thorns, and things like Landorus and Landorus Therian, then this mon is definitely for you, because it's so much fun to use. Playing the what is your switch in game is probably one of the best things to do in League format for me. Having something like a Tyrantrum, like a Landorus Incarnate, like a Mega Medicham, anything that you can just be like, hey, what do you plan on switching into this, and how do you plan on doing it? Because I'm not going to let you do it. Is something that can force a lot of team building to go a certain way and a lot of battles to go a certain way, and that can kind of sort of sway the momentum of any game. So as I said before, there are a couple of really good stops to Mega Medicham in walls, and that is bulky psychic types along with ghost dark types. Ghost types not so much, because you can still hit them with a Zen Headbutt or a Psycho Cut, crit them, get a high roll, flinch them, and it can still do a lot of damage to it. So mainly ghost dark types. So what I like to have most with this thing is Sylveon, specifically Sylveon, because this thing is very good, and by this thing I mean Sylveon, it's very good at going in, walling something, forcing it out, and a steel type being forced in, like an Empoleon. If you watch my battle against a Yoku in the PGL, every single time Sylveon was in, he wanted to go into Empoleon because it's a steel type, it resists it. So what you can do is you can baton pass with Sylveon, drop in your Mega Medicham, and be like, hey, you have to switch into this thing again. And the second that the steel type is gone, then Sylveon is now more powerful, can hit a lot harder, and can be just as effective as Mega Medicham. What Sylveon also does is it also hits those ghost dark types very, very hard. With Hyper Voice and Pixelate, it hits it very hard, and even if they're especially defensive, it's very hard for them to take hits. Another thing I like to pair up with this combo in general is a very good Pursuit Trapper. Now, there are a couple really good Pursuit Trappers in the game, like Weavile and Tyranitar, but the one that I like to pair up with it the most is actually Krookodile. Now that might seem like a little weird, because it's kind of like, Pursuit Trapping Krookodile, it's kind of sort of standard, but why? Because of its ability Intimidate. What it does is it forces your opponent to be at a weaker attack stat. So if you can switch it in, get the Intimidate drop off, go into Mega Medicham, fake out, it's in range of something else, and now because it's intimidated and it's a physical attacker, it won't be able to KO you. That's very important. Another thing that I really like about Krookodile matched up with Mega Medicham is the fact that it can get up rocks fairly easy in any type of game. Any type of game. So sashes are broken for Mega Medicham. You don't have to worry about hitting fake out and then a hit. You can just go straight up for the hit. It can knock off Rocky Helmets, which is another very common way to get good chip damage off on Mega Medicham with fake out, because fake out's fame is very obvious with megas like Mega Lopunny and Mega Medicham. So you can knock off those Rocky Helmets. And then if all else fails and your opponent is extremely weak to both Mega Medicham and Krookodile, you can Scarf Krookodile, and then all of a sudden you have a Scarf Moxie Krookodile ready to sweep right alongside with your Mega Medicham. As I mentioned, this thing just kind of decimates all over bulky Psychic types unless they have a Cobra Berry, but even then, knockoff still hits very hard, and Psychic types have to rely on things like Focus Blast and Energy Ball and things like that, and even then, Krookodile can live those decently well, and say you get up a Moxie boost and you actually have Crunch instead of knockoff, then berries don't really matter, you're gonna end up beating the bulky Psychic type 1v1. So that's kind of a fairly offensive core, but if you want to go with a more defensive core, go Togekiss instead of Sylveon, because Togekiss can paralyze things. It can spam Thunder Wave, and that can make Mega Medicham sweeping sweepers easier. So that could be something that's really cool, and it still gets the Baton Pass, and it also gets Defog to clear off things like Sticky Webs and Toxic Spikes, which could also really hurt Mega Medicham's ability to clean up a game. And if you want to go with a little bit more bulky Dark type rather than Krookodile, you can go Tyranitar. It's a very bulky mon. With Togetic, you have a 4 times resistance to fighting, while with Tyranitar, you have a 4 times weakness, so that covers itself pretty well. And you can still get up your rocks. You can get up Sandstream to break sashes. You can still get up rocks very easily. And Tyranitar has the move pool of a god between Edgequake, Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Thunder Wave again. Like, there's so much that it can do to actually make Mega Medicham's job a lot easier, and it can just kind of sort of really help out, along with the fact that bulky Psychic types, they can't be bulky on both sides, but Tyranitar can hit very hard on both sides, whether you want to be Specs with Dark Pulse or Banded with Crunch. Monotui has done both in the PPL, so it's very likely that the bulky Psychic type, it's not going to matter against this Tyranitar, along with the fact that it is still the Pursuit Trapper that I think Mega Medicham needs to help take out those bulky Psychic types. Because I think Mega Medicham is kind of an easy mon to build around, and it takes regular things that you need in your core anyway, I think this is a very, very, very good Mega. However, I don't think it's one of the best Megas, but it's high up there just on my list, just because I love the the ability to go in and say, hey, you have a wall, it doesn't matter, I'm going to kill it anyway. And the only time that I think Mega Medicham really suffers is whenever people think that it's a cleaner and not a wall breaker. But if you use it solely as a wall breaker, I'm going to give this thing an A. Like, it's a very, very, very good Mega. People forget about it until they have to face it, and then they're like, because Mega Medicham is just that scary, and the second you have anything that can focus team building that much around it, I think it's a fantastic mod in the format. Well guys, that's basically going to be it on Mega Medicham. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. We are so close to 500 subscribers. I'm going to try to be getting out a video letting you guys know what I'm going to do for that sometime this week. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you go down there, you leave a like. Also leave me some opinions as to what you guys think of Mega Medicham in the comment section down below. I love reading your guys' comments. But that's about it. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.